What is the best armor build? Is it a glass cannon, all-out tank, or a jack of all trades? To find the answer to this question, we first have to decide what stats are the most important, and only then can we find the best armor build which maximizes these stats. There are currently 6 stats that armor can give. These are power, defense, agility, attack size, attack speed, and intensity. Each of these increases its own unique stat, which makes you stronger, whether it be raw stats or special effects. Today, we'll be focusing on the power and defense stats since they give the most stat bonuses. Starting out with accessories, you must equip an amulet. Let's compare the 2 best amulets, the power amulet and the defense amulet. The power amulet gives 26 power, while the defense amulet gives 259 defense. As you can see, the defense amulet gives about 10 times as much defense as the power amulet gives power. In other words, we have a 10 defense to power ratio. However, the default ratio between health and damage is different. A level 125 player with no armor has 144 power but only 968 health, which is about a 6.7 defense power ratio. In order to try and match that ratio, we will choose the fair power amulet over the fair defense or Arcane Quartz amulets. The best way to obtain a fair power amulet is by farming gold or silver chests, which can be obtained by solving rare, exotic, or legendary treasure. Luckily, I already made a video explaining how to farm treasure quickly. It will be linked on the top right of the screen and in the video description. For our other accessories, there are many options to choose from. Of these, the best options are magic Arcspheres, boss drops, and the sunken helmet, which is weak right now. Magic Arcspheres give the second most power of any accessory at 21. Although they are worse than power amulets, they are still necessary for a balanced build since you can only use one amulet. Arcspheres can be obtained through gold and sealed chests, which also can be found from solving treasure, just like fair amulets. The next group of accessories are boss drops, which almost always give a certain amount of power or defense, as well as a bit of another stat. For defense, this value is 175, and for power, this value is 15. This defense power ratio of about 11.7 is much greater than the ratio for amulets. As a result, we want to use the defense-based boss drop since they give the most defense in place of power. For this video, I will be using Cernyx Faulds, but Argos helmet also works. The sunken helmet is a similar item, giving defense and some attack size. However, it is currently unviable due to its low stats. In the next update, it will receive a 50% buff to make it slightly better than boss drops. The 3 accessories you should use are the fair power amulet, a defense-based boss drop, and a magic Arcsphere. If you want other stats, you can gladly replace the Arcsphere with one of King Calvis's accessories or Lady Karina's. Let's move on to the chestplates and leggings. The only real options to choose from are boss drops and the sunken set. We'll start with the boss drops since they are easier to obtain. The 2 options again are the power-based armor and the defense-based ones. Leggings have the same stats as accessories, while chestplates give 33% more stats than accessories. While the power chestplates only give 21 power, the defense chestplates give 234 defense. This ratio of 11.1 is one of the highest defense power ratios in the game, so we should use defense-based armor and make up power in other areas. Defense-based armor includes Cernyx's set and Argos' set. The full explanation for using defensive armor will come after we get to the enchantments. Now for sunken armor, they will give slightly more stats than the defense-based boss drops. However, since they are extremely rare, I won't be considering them for this video. That being said, if you have sunken armor, feel free to use them in place of boss armor. Now that we covered all the items, you might notice that this current build gives little power. You might have guessed that is because we will be applying the strong enchantment to all of our equipment. The reason for this is a bit complicated. At level 120, the strong enchantment gives 7 power while the hard enchantment gives 72 defense. This defense power ratio is about 10.3, which is more than the amulet ratio but less than the armor one. That is why we chose defense armor and a power amulet. If we had used power armor and hard enchantments such as full hard, Karina, Faulds, and leggings, you would see that you lose 5 power and 12 attack speed while only gaining 10 defense. Finally, we have the full build. With the strong fair power amulet, a strong Arcsphere, the strong Cernyx set, you should have 82 power, 584 defense, and 80 attack speed. If you don't have the boss drops, you can use the sorcerer and titanium sets temporarily since they give the same stats, except for the helmet. If you have the sunken set to replace Cernyx's set, you will have 627 defense. Even without the Sunken set, this is the best build that maximizes power and defense based on the default stats. Your new total power is 226 and your new total health is 1552. Compared to the default stats, you have 57% more power and 60% more defense, totaling a massive 152% or about a 2.5 times advantage over someone without armor.